So it's been a while since I seen Dark World, and the fact that we got some new cards, it's insane that this was a structure that was announced, and now we get a peek into what's to come. So apparently Ryan gets in level 8 form, and apparently his effect is just as equal on Grapha's level, apparently. Because you can special summon this card from your graveyard, return one level 7 or lower Dark World to the hand, just like Grapha does. If this card is discarded by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 5 or higher Dark World monster from your deck to your hand, except him. So pretty much you have a Grapha Searcher, which is pretty cool. Then if it was discarded by your opponent, so if your opponent discards it, not only do you get the add-on, but you can special summon one Dark World monster from your deck or graveyard to either side of the field. That's actually pretty good. Depending on how Dark Worlds work, I could have sworn they had like a level 1 that legit forced a discard. But I don't know how that worked. I'm pretty sure people would know, but I'm just saying it's cool to see Ryan get his new form after all these years of Yu-Gi-Oh! So they get a new spell card, Dark World Puppeteering. Puppeteering. You can target 3 cards in any graveyard. Keep in mind this is also a quickie. So pretty much you got a quick play spell here. Target up 3 cards in any graveyard, banish them, and then discard 1 feed, triggering a Dark World effect pretty much. And then during your main phase, set the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target one of your banished Fiend monsters added to your hand. That's pretty good. This means you can add the Fiend on the next turn if you live till next turn with all these OTK decks. But, you just have to wait and see how that goes. But this is a quick play, so again, you can eliminate targets, or if your opponent fills up their grave, you can banish it. This is pretty decent, I guess, against Tri-Brigade, since you can banish their grave a little bit. You can banish like 3 of their monsters instantly with this effect. So technically, this card's a really good counter against it. If you go first, keep in mind. You have to go first, so you have this prep to target the Tri-Brigade units. Anyways, so apparently you are seeing this right. Grapha fuses. And it's insane. So Grapha, the Dark Dragon Lord of the Dark World, and 1 Dark Monster. Pretty easy to summon too. When your opponent activates a normal spell or trap card or monster effect, quickie, you can make the effect that your opponent discards 1 card. So that's actually pretty good, because that's going to trigger your Dark World effects easy too, and you get the second bonus effect, which is awesome. Then it says if this fusion summon card leaves the field in any shape or form by your opponent, you can special summon one of your Grapha Dragon Lords that are banished or in your graveyard. Then each player discards 1 card. Wow. That's a really good fusion. There's a lot of plussing with that too. Not plussing, but there's plussing in the sense that you're killing your opponent with that discard 1. That's actually insane. Dark World Ascension. Another quick play. You can only use the first segment card each name once per turn. Okay, during your main phase, fusion summon 1 Fiend Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing listed on it from your field and or graveyard. So it's a Miracle Fusion for Fiends. So that's interesting. But if you summon a Dark World Fusion monster this way, you can also discard monsters from your hand as material. Keep in mind they say the field and or graveyard, but the hand effect is going to be considered a discard, which again will trigger your Dark World cards, which is pretty much, again, there's more OTK potential in that, since your Dark Worlds will trigger, like Sylvia and Golden Woo and all that in between stuff. So that's actually pretty good. And also its second effect is decent as well. During your main phase, if this card's in your graveyard, you can add to it and then discard 1 Dark World monster. Again, pretty good. So Dark World's new cards look pretty damn good. Especially Grapha's Fusion, which is going to force a discard if this card leaves the field in any shape or form. So you can minus your opponent, and that's going to be really good on your end. And not only that, you're going to be able to plus because you're pitching one of your other Dark World monsters to trigger an effect twice if discarded by your opponent, which is also pretty pocky. The fact that they got more quick play spells, so involvement more on your opponent's turn, and you can banish the cards, this is pretty good in certain types of situations, depending what type of deck they're playing. But this is a good card nonetheless, because it also adds a Fiend that is banished back to your hand. And apparently some reprints. There's the whole gang back together again. And there's Grapha finally getting his things together. So I thought this was like interesting to see that, but it's good to see Ryan return after all these years. So it's kind of interesting to see. He'll definitely kind of see play in the future as well because this effect's actually pretty good. Because this is pretty much a Grapha searcher. I'm pretty sure Snow was a Grapha searcher, but I think Snow was a spell searcher at best or trap searcher for Dark Worlds. Versus I guess this guy being able to just plainly you're adding Grapha period. So this causes the fusion to activate a little bit easier. Snow can search this card actually since it is a spell, and you can pretty much go into your fusion pretty easily too if you discard Snow and that. So discarding this and Snow is going to give you a lot of profit. You're going to go into your fusion. That's going to change your opponent's card effects to discard a card from each other's hand, which is going to be pretty good. Just thought we'd talk about that. I thought that was interesting. But we'll have to see how they play out, obviously, in tournament play, what changes. Right now, Springlight is, taking the seat of meta decks right now after they got announced not too long ago. And Springlight has been kicking ass ever since with their level 2 powers. So we'll see if Grapha even really makes like an impact on it besides changing one Springlight effect to your opponent discards a card. We'll see how that plays out, honestly. But until next time, I thought we'd just talk about it. I thought that was pretty cool. Peace out.